All right, welcome back in to Wisdom in October. We're going through the book of Proverbs together. It is October 12th, so we're going through Proverbs chapter 12. And man, I'm telling you, it's kind of just getting to the place where it's bordering on overwhelming, overwhelming in the good sense of the word, because there's just so many good verses, so many good principles. And so I'd love to see you start dropping in the comments, the stuff that's really sticking out to you, what's speaking to your heart, the areas where maybe you're feeling some conviction, you're feeling some challenge, you want to grow in that area. Because, I mean, really, that's where we want to be when it comes to this whole journey. And when we come to the Word of God, we want to come with hearts that are full of humility. As we come to the Word of God, we want to be molded and shaped and transformed by it. So I'm hoping that as you're coming to read through Proverbs, that you just stop and pray and ask God to speak clearly to your heart. And so with that, let's go ahead and jump in. I got a couple of verses that I want to point out. And so we're just going to start right off in verse number 1. And I'm reading out of the CSB version tonight, so the translation tonight. So Proverbs 12 and verse 1, whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but the one who hates correction is stupid. So discipline and correction belong to the wise. People that love and honor discipline and that follow after that and are open and receptive to correction. That says that the one who hates correction is stupid. And I think we have to be people that fight against the tendency to want to avoid correction, avoid feedback, because we just don't want somebody telling us that we're not doing it right, all that kind of stuff. And so we want to be a people that love discipline, love knowledge, and hate and don't hate correction, because hating correction is stupid. We want to be people that welcome correction, that are open to it, that are humble, that are willing to hear and to respond accordingly, both from the Word of God, but also from godly counsel around us. Now let's jump down to verse 4. And this one's kind of interesting. Verse 4 says, a wife of noble character is her husband's crown, but a wife who causes shame is like rottenness in his bones. And it just got me thinking, like, yes, obviously these verses are written in a husband-wife context. So clearly, the primary application would be to a married couple. But one thing that it got me thinking about is just how our character doesn't simply have impact on our own world, our own life, that our character actually has significant impact on other people. In this case, good, noble character results in being someone else's crown, someone else's glory, someone else's showing off, somebody else's adornment, somebody else's almost like sign of status. It is a result of somebody else's moral, noble character. And then the lack of character, that one who causes shame, is rottenness to the bones. Like, have you ever had one of those days where you ached down to your bones? It's not a day where you think you're going to actually get anything done. It's not a day where you're excited about life. It's a terrible day. So the idea of this rottenness in your bones is just like you're sick to the core. And it's not out of something that you did. It's out of result of somebody else's corrupt character. So I just thought that was an interesting thing for us to consider, that as you think about your life and as you think about your character and as you're trying to choose which way you're going to live your life, are you going to try to walk in obedience to God and have integrity and honor God with your actions and your thoughts and all of that, that it doesn't just impact you, it actually impacts all of those around you, especially those that you're related to, be it by marriage or kids, parents. All of those relationships are impacted as a result of how we choose to line up our character. Now, number 3 is verse 7. Verse 7 says, the wicked are overthrown and perish, but the house of the righteous will stand. The wicked are overthrown and perish, but the house of the righteous will stand. And I just love how this talks about righteousness just establishes you. It's stability, it's consistency, it brings blessing. So, sometimes in different parts of the Christian world, righteousness gets a bad rap because people want to mark it off as, oh, that's works oriented. What are you trying to earn your salvation or anything like that? And it's like, no, we are not trying to earn our salvation. We're actually maybe expressions of gratitude, walking in righteousness as an expression of gratitude for our salvation. That would be a cool way to live. And it shows us that living righteously brings stability, consistency, steadiness, predictability, and blessing, and being established. And that's the kind of people we want to be, because then just like the name of the Lord is a strong tower and the righteous can run into it and be safe, to some extent the church needs to be a strong tower where the hurting and broken of the world can come running to it and be safe. But we are only that when we choose to walk and be people of righteousness. So I want to encourage you in that regard. And then lastly, we're going to tie together verses 18 and 25. And so let me just read verses 18 and 25. Verse 18, it says, there is one who speaks rashly like a piercing sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. The tongue of the wise brings healing. Again, just how frequently Proverbs is talking about the fruit of your lips, the power of your tongue. Folks, we need to be really conscientious of the words that we speak, of what is coming out of our mouths. But then also it means we need to look at the status of our hearts, because the mouth speaks out of the overflow of the heart. So if the mouth is junk, it means that there's junk in our heart, and then we need to get it cleaned out. We need to get that straightened out. We need to start being the righteous, because he's coming to cleanse and change us and mold us and shape us from the inside out. And so we want to make sure that we are submitting to that. So the tongue of the wise brings healing. And then verse 25 says, anxiety in a person's heart weighs it down, but a good word cheers it up. Anxiety in the heart weighs it down, but a good word cheers it up. And so if you could tie that together, the tongue of the wise is that good word, and it brings healing and it cheers people up. I mean, come on now. Let's be a people that are the tongue of the wise, that the words that come out of our mouths are words of wisdom, words of strength, words coming straight out of God's presence, and that it would be a good word to people that would cheer them up and rescue people from their anxiety. Again, that was 4 verses out of 28. I guess technically it was maybe 5 verses, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 verses. So 5 out of 28. So I left a bunch of them there for you to capitalize on. So hey, if God spoke something to you out of any of the verses that we covered, drop it in the comments. Let me know. I'd love to interact with you a little bit there. Anyways, Pastor Rick here, signing off. Have a great day, and thanks for going on this journey with me as we go wisdom in October, going through the book of Proverbs. Have a great day.